Just in, massive update from Newcastle. Fresh updates have just dropped, and the situation at St James Park is heating up. From a fierce transfer battle shaking up the Premier League, to a possible emotional homecoming that could make every Geordie proud, today's news will leave you stunned. There's also a major contract twist involving a key player, and serious concerns about one of Eddie Howe's forwards as we head towards a crucial clash this weekend. Yes, Newcastle fans, there's plenty to unpack today, and every story could have a massive impact on the club's next steps this season. From transfer wars to injury scares, everything's moving fast behind the scenes. So grab a cuppa, settle in, and don't forget to hit subscribe to stay ahead of every breaking update from our beloved Magpies. Samu Aguilar has become one of the most talked about young strikers in Europe, and Newcastle United are right in the thick of it. The Spanish forward, only 21 years old, has been setting the Portuguese league alight with Porto, scoring goals for fun and catching the attention of several Premier League sides. Tottenham Hotspur were the first to make contact, but things have changed quickly. Now, both Newcastle United and Aston Villa are threatening to hijack the deal, creating a transfer race that's heating up by the hour. Inside Newcastle, Eddie Howe and his staff see Aguilar as a key piece for the club's next step. The Magpies have been looking to bring in a young, hungry striker who can both learn and compete with Alexander Isak. The Spanish forward's mix of pace, instinct, and composure in front of goal has impressed Howe's analysts. He fits the manager's tactical style perfectly, pressing from the front, linking play, and being ruthless inside the box. Newcastle scouts describe him as a modern striker capable of adapting instantly to Premier League intensity. Over in London, Tottenham are desperate to solve their striking dilemma. Thomas Frank's side have played good football this season but continue to struggle in the final third. Richarlison's inconsistency has been frustrating, while Dominic Solanke's injury problems have forced the club to explore other options. Spurs had viewed Aguilar as their #1 January target, believing his finishing ability could turn them into top 4 contenders again. But the sudden interest from Newcastle and Villa has complicated everything. Aston Villa's boss Unai Emery is another admirer of Aguilar's qualities. Emery believes the young Spaniard has the mentality and work ethic to thrive in English football. However, Newcastle's project seems far more appealing to the players' representatives. The Magpies' growing European ambitions, the exciting atmosphere at St James Park, and Howe's reputation for improving young players all make Tyneside a perfect destination. Sources in Portugal claim Aguilar's camp sees Newcastle as the ideal stepping stone for a long-term Premier League career. Newcastle's recruitment team, led by Dan Ashworth, has been quietly preparing for this move. Scouts from the club have attended several Porto matches, gathering detailed reports on Aguilar's movement, attitude, and finishing. They were particularly impressed by his performance in a recent 3-1 win where he scored twice and assisted once, showing maturity beyond his years. One insider described him as fearless and efficient, the kind of forward Eddie Howe loves. The plan is to make a formal approach as soon as the January window opens. Financially, Newcastle are in a strong position to compete. After balancing their summer books and qualifying for European competition, the club has funds available for a key signing. Porto value Aguilar at around £35 million, though Newcastle are expected to negotiate for a structured deal with performance-based bonuses. The player's wage demands are considered modest compared to Premier League standards, making the move even more attractive. The Magpies view this as an investment for the future, a striker who can grow into a £100 million player within a few seasons. Behind the scenes, Howe has already expressed personal interest in the player. He's known for directly reaching out to potential signings to explain his vision and build trust early. Sources close to the club believe Howe will speak with Aguilar's representatives soon to outline his plans. He wants to assure the young Spaniard that he'll get plenty of opportunities to play and develop at Newcastle. Such personal involvement has been key in recent deals and could prove decisive once again. Meanwhile, Porto are fully aware of the growing Premier League attention and have begun exploring replacements. They know the January window could bring a huge offer that's hard to refuse. Aguilar himself has not hidden his desire to play in England one day. He reportedly told close friends that he dreams of testing himself against the world's best defenders. For Newcastle fans, The idea of seeing him link up with Isaac, Gordon, and Bruno Guimaraes is an exciting thought that's quickly gaining traction online. The competition, however, remains fierce. Tottenham won't give up easily and are prepared to offer a player plus cash deal to Porto. Villa, too, have hinted at matching any offer Newcastle make. But the Magpies project stands out. They can offer immediate playing time, European football, and a clear development plan under a manager who believes in youth. For a 21-year-old trying to make his mark, that might be exactly what he needs. Talks are expected to intensify in early December, with Newcastle ready to strike quickly. If Newcastle succeed, this could be one of the most exciting transfers in recent memory for the club. Agahauer's arrival would not only boost the squad's quality, but also send a strong message to rivals about Newcastle's growing power in the market. Eddie Howe knows what he's building. A team full of energy, ambition, and belief. Adding a lethal young striker to that mix could be the spark needed to lift the Magpies to the next level. And as things stand, Newcastle are quietly leading the race. As excitement builds among the Geordie faithful, the sense of anticipation is palpable. Supporters can already picture the roar at St. James Park when a new striker steps onto the pitch wearing the famous black and white stripes. Many fans believe Agahauer embodies exactly what Newcastle stand for: determination, passion, and raw talent ready to explode. The thought of him scoring in front of the Gallowgate end sends shivers down their spines. If the club pulls this off, it won't just be a signing. It'll be a statement that Newcastle United are no longer chasing the pack, they're leading it. Elliot Anderson's name has returned to headlines around Tyneside, and it's stirring powerful emotions. The 22-year-old midfielder, once seen as one of Newcastle's brightest academy stars, could now be on his way back to St. James Park. After leaving last year to help the club meet profit and sustainability rules, Anderson has flourished at Nottingham Forest, becoming one of the Premier League's most exciting young midfielders. But now, a tug-of-war is forming, with Manchester United keen to beat Newcastle to his signature in January. Since leaving the North East, Anderson's progress has been nothing short of remarkable. At Forest, he's developed into a dynamic, box-to-box midfielder, combining energy with technical class. His performances have earned him a place in the England squad, a dream few expected so soon after his departure. For many Newcastle supporters, watching him shine elsewhere has been bittersweet. Pride in his rise, but frustration that he's doing it away from St. James Park. And now, with rumours of a return, the story has come full circle. Newcastle's interest in bringing him back is no emotional whim. Eddie Howe sees Anderson as a perfect fit for his high-energy midfield, alongside Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali. The Magpies board are exploring whether a deal is financially possible given the player's soaring value, now estimated at around £55 million. Sources close to the club suggest Howe personally asked for Anderson to be monitored closely this season. He views him as unfinished business, a player who should never have left in the first place. However, there's a major obstacle. Manchester United have joined the race, and they're serious. Erik ten Hag sees Anderson as part of a long-term rebuild at Old Trafford, especially with Casemiro aging and doubts around Scott McTominay's consistency. United's recruitment staff have been impressed by Anderson's blend of control and aggression, qualities that could complement Bruno Fernandes in midfield. For United, it's not just about depth, it's about building a younger, hungrier core to bring back dominance. Forest, for their part, have no intention of selling easily. Anderson has become the heartbeat of their midfield, driving attacks and lifting the team's tempo every match. The club's hierarchy have already said publicly they want to build around him, but every player has a price. If the bidding war between Newcastle and Manchester United truly takes off, Forest could be forced to consider a record-breaking sale. That reality has made Forest fans uneasy. They know Anderson's value will only rise if his form continues. Emotionally, though, the idea of returning home could be irresistible. Anderson grew up dreaming of playing for Newcastle, breaking through the academy ranks, and representing his hometown club. His family are still based in the region, and many of his closest friends remain die-hard Magpies fans. Sources suggest he has privately told people he never wanted to leave in the first place. That emotional connection could be Newcastle's biggest weapon, one money alone can't buy. At the same time, Manchester United offer undeniable appeal. The chance to play under the bright lights of Old Trafford, to challenge for trophies, and to work alongside established internationals. It's the kind of opportunity few players turn down. United's global stature and financial muscle make them a powerful suitor. For a 22-year-old entering his prime, that could be a tempting next step. The question, then, is whether Anderson's heart will overrule his ambition, or whether professional goals will take priority this time. Inside Newcastle, opinions are divided on how far to push for him. Some within the board believe spending £55 million on a player they sold last year sends the wrong message. Others argue the opposite, that bringing back a homegrown star now reaching his peak would symbolize the club's growth. Eddie Howe, however, remains firm. He believes Anderson's technical maturity, stamina, and knowledge of the club's culture make him worth the investment. To him, it's about more than numbers. It's about identity. For Anderson himself, the coming weeks will be crucial. He'll need to weigh up what matters most, emotional roots or career trajectory. A return to Newcastle would mean unfinished business and a chance to prove himself as a key man in the new era. A move to Manchester United would open doors to global recognition and the possibility of silverware. Whichever choice he makes will shape not just his own path but the future narrative of both clubs' midfields for years to come. As January approaches, the stage is set for a dramatic battle. Forest are holding firm, but pressure will mount as offers come in. Newcastle are determined, Manchester United are circling, and Elliot Anderson is at the center of it all. A young man torn between two futures. For Newcastle fans, the hope is simple, that their local boy comes home to finish what he started, under Eddie Howe's guidance, in front of the supporters who never stopped believing in him. Should Anderson decide to return, his comeback would be one of the most symbolic moments in recent Newcastle history. The fans have never stopped singing his name, even after his departure. Bringing him back would feel like righting a wrong. A reunion between a player who bleeds black and white and a fan base that's waited patiently for his return. It would also send a message across England, that Newcastle United don't just build squads, they build legacies, rooted in loyalty and pride. For Howe, it would be the perfect story of redemption and trust in youth. Yet if he opts for Manchester United, few could blame him. Playing for one of the most successful clubs in the world would fast-track his global reputation and test him at the highest level. It might sting for Newcastle fans, but it would also underline how far their academy graduates have come. Either way, Elliot Anderson's next move feels monumental. His talent is undeniable, and whichever shirt he wears next, one thing is certain. He'll carry a piece of Newcastle in his heart every time he steps onto the pitch. Bruno Guimaraes has once again proven why he's the heartbeat of Eddie Howe's Newcastle United. After scoring a late winner against Fulham, the Brazilian midfielder lifted the whole mood on Tyneside, reigniting belief that the Magpies are heading in the right direction. Yet behind the scenes, the club are working just as hard off the pitch to secure their long-term future. Sporting director Ross Wilson, recently appointed, has made it clear that keeping key players like Bruno and Tino Livramento is top priority, and is wasting no time making it happen. Ross Wilson's arrival has already brought a sense of organization and intent to the club's recruitment and retention strategy. His approach is methodical, but ambitious. He understands that stability in the squad is just as vital as bringing in new faces. Sources close to St. James Park have revealed that Wilson has already opened early discussions with Bruno's representatives about a new and improved contract. The goal is simple: to end speculation about the midfielder's future and ensure he remains at the center of the Newcastle project. Bruno's situation has become a talking point across Europe, with clubs from Spain and England monitoring him closely. But Newcastle know his importance extends far beyond statistics. He's not just a creative force, he's a leader, a motivator, and the emotional engine of the team. Ross Wilson wants to make him one of the club's highest paid players, reflecting both his influence and loyalty. Newcastle's management believes securing his commitment will set the tone for the next phase of their development under Eddie Howe. Meanwhile, Tino Livramento's progress has been equally impressive. The young fullback has shown maturity beyond his years since joining Newcastle, adapting to Howe's demanding tactical system with ease. His pace, intelligence, and composure have quickly made him a fan favorite. Manchester City and several European clubs have been linked with him, but the Magpies are determined to close the door firmly. Wilson's next big move is to tie Livramento down to a long-term deal before interest turns into formal offers. The club's leadership has learned lessons from recent uncertainties surrounding Alexander Isak and other high-profile players. They want to avoid the kind of contract standoffs that disrupt momentum. Ross Wilson's plan is to secure extensions early, maintain harmony within the squad, and protect Newcastle's assets from poaching. This proactive stance is something fans have been calling for, a clear sign that Newcastle are no longer reactive but forward-thinking. It's a mark of how far the club's structure has evolved since the takeover. Eddie Howe fully supports this approach. He has repeatedly emphasized the importance of continuity and trust within his dressing room. In his words, players must feel valued, both emotionally and financially. Bruno's potential new deal represents that philosophy perfectly, rewarding performance and commitment. Howe sees Bruno and Livramento as pillars of the team's next era, both on and off the pitch. For him, it's about creating a squad that grows together, matures together, and wins together. Ross Wilson's growing influence can already be felt in how the club handle negotiations. Unlike past regimes, Newcastle are no longer dragged into drawn-out sagas or public disputes. Wilson prefers discretion and decisiveness, ensuring players know their futures early. Sources claim that new contracts for at least 4 senior players are already being drafted. This new sense of order reflects the professionalism that Wilson, formerly of Rangers and Southampton, is bringing to the Magpies operation. The ripple effect of Bruno's potential new contract could be significant. Other key players, such as Fabian Schär and Joe Linton, are also approaching the final years of their deals. Securing Bruno first would send a powerful message that Newcastle reward loyalty and performance. It would also reinforce Eddie Howe's project in the eyes of potential signings. Agents across Europe have already taken note of how Newcastle treat their stars, describing the club as ambitious but family-like, a reputation that can help attract top talent. Livramento's renewal, meanwhile, represents Newcastle's commitment to the next generation. The young defender has expressed how happy he is at the club, enjoying the trust of Howe and the warmth of the fans. Sources close to him say he's open to extending his deal and feels settled on Tyneside. For a player who's already being tracked by Europe's elite, that's a major win for Newcastle. It proves the environment at the club is one where young players can thrive and grow into leaders. Ultimately, Ross Wilson's plan is about protecting Newcastle's future from uncertainty. By locking in stars like Bruno Guimaraes and Tino Livramento, the Magpies are showing that they're not just a rising force, they're a club built for sustained success. The project under Eddie Howe continues to evolve, blending passion with professionalism. And with Wilson steering the strategic side, Newcastle United are quietly building something powerful, not just for this season, but for a decade to come. For the fans, seeing this level of planning feels refreshing. For years, Newcastle supporters watched their best players leave because of poor decisions or lack of ambition. Now, under this new leadership, there's genuine confidence that the club can compete both on and off the pitch. Supporters see Ross Wilson's actions as proof that the Magpies are maturing into an elite side, one that plans ahead, keeps its stars, and refuses to be bullied in the transfer market. It's a far cry from the uncertainty of old Newcastle. As the January window approaches, optimism is high. Bruno Guimaraes' extension looks likely, Livramento's future appears secure, and talks with other key players are underway. The unity between Howe, Wilson, and the ownership group is giving Newcastle a solid foundation for the seasons ahead. The Magpies might not be lifting trophies just yet, but the groundwork is clearly being laid. What's happening now behind the scenes could define Newcastle United's next decade, a new era of strength, stability, and ambition on Tyneside. William Ojala has been one of the most intriguing figures in Newcastle United's season so far. The 22-year-old Danish striker, full of energy and promise, has shown flashes of brilliance whenever called upon. With 3 goals and 1 assist in limited minutes, he's quickly made an impression among the fans. Yet despite his talent, Eddie Howe has been cautious in using him, and now we finally know why. The The manager has confirmed that Ojala has been playing through an ankle problem, raising serious concerns ahead of the upcoming clash with Tottenham Hotspur. Speaking after the dramatic 2-1 win against Fulham, Howe revealed that Ojala's fitness is far from ideal. The striker came off the bench in the dying minutes and played a crucial part in Bruno Guimaraes' winner, showing determination and sharp instincts despite visible discomfort. "I'm very pleased with Will," Howe said. "He's not 100% fit, but he's pushing through. We need to manage him carefully." It was an honest admission, and one that shows how much Newcastle rely on his growing influence. Ojala's story at Newcastle has been one of persistence and quiet progress. Signed as a young prospect, he's had to wait patiently for his chance behind Alexander Isak and Callum Wilson. But when opportunities come, he grabs them. His blend of physical strength, pace, and confidence has turned him into a fan favorite. Supporters admire his work ethic, often describing him as old school, the kind of striker who gives everything for the shirt, no matter the circumstances. Even injured, he still wants to play. Behind the scenes, the medical staff have been working intensively to get Ojala back to full fitness. The issue is not considered serious, but Howe insists they cannot take risks. "He's got a problem with the ankle, so we're trying to treat it properly," he said. "The important thing is that he's improving." The club's training reports indicate he's undergoing light individual sessions with Graham Jones, who's been focusing on strengthening his balance and control to protect the injured joint. Eddie Howe's handling of young players has always been cautious but clever. He prefers steady development over quick returns, believing that confidence grows from consistency. In Ojala's case, that philosophy is clearly paying off. His brief appearances this season have shown growth in decision-making and positioning. Against Fulham, he demonstrated awareness and composure under pressure, winning the ball, forcing the save, and allowing Bruno to score the rebound. For a player not yet fully fit, that's a statement of determination. However, the striker's limited playing time has raised questions among some fans. Many feel Ojala deserves more minutes, especially given his impact off the bench. Howe, though, remains firm. "We have to think long-term," he explained. "He's developing really well, but we need to manage his body. When he's fully fit, he'll be an even bigger threat." The manager's careful approach is typical of his style, ensuring young players mature gradually, rather than being thrown into the deep end too soon. Nick Woltermade's recent form has complicated matters further. The German forward has started several matches, leading the line effectively and taking pressure off Ojala. Yet even with Woltermade's presence, it's clear Howe sees Ojala as part of Newcastle's future. The Dane's drive, professionalism, and positive attitude have impressed everyone at the training ground. "He wants to be here, he wants to play, and he's committed," Howe said proudly. "That's exactly the mentality we want in this squad." For Newcastle, managing injuries has been one of the main challenges this season. With several players already sidelined, every squad member counts. Howe's system demands high energy and pressing, making fitness management critical. The coaching staff are monitoring workloads closely, hoping to keep the team sharp without risking long-term setbacks. Ojala's case highlights that delicate balance, the need to compete fiercely while also protecting the future. The club's sports science team is reportedly tracking his recovery daily. Fans on Tyneside have shown nothing but support for the young striker. Social media has been filled with messages wishing him a speedy recovery and praising his contribution in the Fulham win. "He might not score every week," one supporter wrote, "but he plays with heart, and that's what matters." The Newcastle crowd loves players who fight for the badge, and Ojala's attitude perfectly embodies that spirit. Every time he steps onto the pitch, the energy in the stands lifts, proof that he's already winning hearts. As the Spurs game approaches, Howe faces a decision: risk Ojala again or give him more time to recover. The club won't rush him, but his importance to the team is growing. With his raw talent, infectious work ethic, and strong mentality, Ojala is shaping up to be one of Newcastle's brightest young stars. If managed correctly, he could follow in the footsteps of Isak and Wilson, becoming the next forward to lead the line at St. James Park. The Magpies have found another gem, one they'll do everything to protect. What a week for Newcastle United fans. From fierce transfer battles to emotional storylines, everything points to an exciting future at St. James Park. The Magpies are fighting toe-to-toe with Tottenham and Aston Villa for Samu Agihawa, a move that could change the face of the attack. Should Newcastle win that race, it would prove the club's growing power. So tell us, do you believe Eddie Howe can convince the Spanish striker to choose black and white stripes over London or Birmingham? Then there's the emotional saga of Elliot Anderson, a local lad who left too soon, now blossoming into one of England's brightest midfielders. Could a return home really happen? Or will Manchester United tempt him away with silverware and glamour? Let us know what your heart says. Would you welcome Anderson back to St. James Park with open arms? It's a transfer story that tugs at every Geordie's heartstrings. And how about the stability Ross Wilson is bringing? With Bruno Guimaraes and Tino Livramento set for new contracts, the Magpies are finally building on solid ground. Add in Eddie Howe's careful management of William Ojala's injury, and the picture becomes clear. Newcastle United are planning for the long term. What a time to be a Toon fan. Stay proud, stay passionate, and never stop believing.